China, India, Southeast Asia. So, and basically the same cycle, the petrol currency cycle needs to shift with that, right? So, we will pay dollars to buy your oil and gas. You have to give it back to us, otherwise we will run out of money. We will not have any more money, basically, trade, investment, and tourism is a cycle. Money goes one way, it needs to come back, right? So basically, all the big oil producing countries, Saudi Arabia included, but also UAE, Russia, Kuwait, and others, need to support their customers. They have to give the money back in the form of investment, tourism, and trade, so that we can give that money back to you again by buying more oil and gas, right? So that's the macro picture. Without this cycle, basically trade, investment, and tourism will break down, right? So I think top down, what all of the governments will have to do is to shift this cycle from the Atlantic trade to the Pacific trade, right? And actually, at the same time, it doesn't make sense for us to do this cycle in dollars, right? Because we're not really in the dollar block, you see, right? Latin America might be a dollar block. Maybe Western Europe can still be more logically considered to be part of the dollar block, but we're in a region where China is the #1 economy. That's just a fact, right? India is the #2 economy. Right? Or sorry, Japan and India, right? So we have to create a new dollar block. I think, frankly, Europe probably has more engagement in this region. So Euro needs to have a bigger role. But ultimately, I think the logical conclusion, the logical end game is a lot of us have to trade with each other in renminbi. Right? So that's sort of the macro picture. On a micro level, on a micro level, frankly, many of us, most of us here probably have heard of this TTI, trade, tourism, investment. You can sort of divide the world into two schools of thought. The people who believe in it, and the people who don't believe in it. People who think it doesn't really work. I happen to belong to the group of people that believe it works. Right? I believe that tourism triggers trade, trade triggers tourism, and both create the atmosphere, create the backdrop for investment, right? So what do we need to do? What can each of us do, right? I think we should continue working very closely with our friends who are in business, right? Who are entrepreneurs. I still have family who happen to own one of the major travel agencies in Indonesia. I think we need to promote more tourism from Indonesia to Middle East, right? I think we need to showcase the tremendous progress and the reforms and the changes that are happening there, right? Actually, I'm a little biased. I'm probably hurting my own family vacation prospects. We all start booking hotels and flights there. Actually, my wife and I are discussing to take a family holiday to Abu Dhabi and Dubai this year end. And I checked the travel app. I was actually very pleased to see, wow, it's actually getting more affordable. Right? Another observation from my trip to Riyadh. In a small way, it's already happening. So I know it's going to sound silly, but as ancient Chinese saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, right? So my story is, in Riyadh, I was told that the Indonesian bakery, Jeko Donat, had opened 3 or 4 outlets, and basically it was booming. It's doing extremely well. People are lining up to buy Jeko Donat. Conversely, there's some Saudi or Middle Eastern fried chicken restaurant, Albin something.
Albaik. Albaik.
Albay. Oh, has opened in Bogor or something like that. And again, people are lining up. It's doing very, very well, right? Now, this I'm very pleased because. Again, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. It's small things like this. Believe me, it will snowball, right? Now, President Jokowi has already said many, many times in his speeches over the last 3 or 4 years, right, that we have entered the era of lifestyle. So, if we can pull ourselves away from the headlines that dominate our social media and our newspapers. Actually, as President Jokowi said, the most important thing happening today is still the continuing rise of hundreds of millions of people in China, India, Middle East, Southeast Asia into what we call the global middle class. Hundreds of millions of people are joining that global middle class, and as President Jokowi explained, what differentiates the middle class from the working class is just one thing, and that's lifestyle. Right. He also highlighted the global economy is growing about 3.5 or 3.7% per year. The global tourism sector is growing about 7% per year. It's so double the growth of the rest of the economy. And he also cited a Bloomberg article that analyzed over the next 20 to 30 years around the world globally. 1 out of every 4 new jobs in the world will come from the tourism sector. Right? So lifestyle and tourism are really, really key. And I think in terms of my priority, between Saudi Arabia, UAE, the Gulf states, Indonesia, South Asia, is tourism and lifestyle. Right? There's many, many good reasons for that. Number one, I believe Indonesia is really, really good at it. They're really good at Bali, resorts, lifestyle, tourism, culinary, fashions. But again, the demographics, the young people in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia, India, increasingly are defined by this middle class lifestyle. It's being turbocharged by social media. Right? Another reason is frankly manufacturing is still important, but it's not going to be the engine of job creation it was for us 20 or 30 years ago, the way it was for China 30 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, another theme that President Jokowi is talking about a lot these days is Industrial Revolution 4.0. You will be really, really shocked by how quickly factories are automated. Right? So when we attract investment into manufacturing, those jobs are not going to be many. More and more of manufacturing will be done by robots. It will still be important for balance of trade and balance of payments, right? And the trend towards Industry 4.0 and automation and industrial internet actually make it easier for companies to locate their factory closer to their customer. Right? So instead of like one huge factory in China, it will supply 20 countries. Multinational companies might create 8 smaller factories closer to the customer. Right? That is a trend with technology. So where is the jobs going to come from? The jobs are going to come from the services sector. Right? This is another policy theme that I keep emphasizing again and again to my colleagues in the cabinet, to the president, to the vice president. sector jasa, the services sector, right? That includes, by the way, construction and real estate. Right? People forget those are also services sector, right? But again, it's good to understand what's driving what. What is pulling what is the engine, and what is the supporting industry? I think the engine is middle class lifestyle, right? Especially the millennial and Generation Z. So my policy priority, frankly, between Saudi Arabia and Indonesia is to focus on tourism. Now, construction and real estate will be supporting the build-out of resorts, of tourism destinations, of infrastructure like airports and water treatment plants and so on. Those are all supporting infrastructure to create new tourism destinations and to facilitate, tourism flow, such as airports, cruise ship terminal, marina, parks, tourism districts and the like, right? And my notion is building Saudi Arabia's own tourism sector is a key component of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030, right? And actually, I got an early preview on Vision 2030 when I was still trade minister, and I attended the G20 trade ministers meeting in Hangzhou 2 years ago, and the Saudi trade minister, who was new at the time, had a bilateral with me and presented Vision 2030. And it's very clever, it's very smart. Basically he said, look, we think if every visitor who comes for Umrah or Hajj just add 2 nights to their stay, that's already millions of room nights per year. Right? But what does it mean? That means your target market is right here. It's us. It's Indonesians. It's Malaysians. It's Muslim Indians, right? Who are gonna go on holiday to Saudi Arabia. I don't think it's gonna be Americans. It's gonna be some, but not many Europeans. I think your big, juicy market, your target audience is us, right? So that's why I think it makes sense for Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, UAE, to invest into the tourism sector in Indonesia. Send young Saudi, young Kuwaiti, young Emirati to work a few years in our tourism and lifestyle sector. And I believe we're champions at halal tourism and having fun without alcohol, right? Actually, President Jokowi even conveyed to Korea President Moon Jae-in, if you remember, Ambassador, that he wants to work between Indonesia and South Korea to open movie theater in Saudi Arabia. Right? So Korea has fantastic movie theater technology and system and design, but we Indonesians as Muslim know the cultural sensibilities and sensitivities of Muslim culture, right? So we can be an ideal bridge to bring South Korean movie theater technology to Saudi Arabia to support one of the most visible reforms of Crown Prince Mohammed, which was opening movie theaters in Saudi Arabia for the first time in 30 years, right? And I think it's going to be a huge industry. If you look at what happened in Indonesia over the last 15 years, when we open up the movie theater sector, capital is flooding in, it's booming, it's employing tens of thousands of people, and it's also stimulating the local movie production. Right? So now we have a booming local movie production industry, and again, as a services sector jasa. Those are all jobs. Those are all high quality jobs. Because everything from makeup to set design and set carpenter, right? Costume, sound, filming, editing is all jobs, and they're high quality jobs. Many are skilled, but many are also semi-skilled, right? So, and then after the young Saudi, the young Emirati spent a few years in Indonesia, right? like a kind of apprenticeship or, learning tourism and lifestyle, can go back to Saudi to bring all the tricks of the trade, with all the experience of, modern and alcohol-free, even halal tourism, right? And again, the other example was even earlier. So aside from J. Bodona, I remember I was in Dubai for a business trip, and I went to the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa. And right next to the Burj Khalifa is the largest shopping center in Dubai, the Dubai Mall. And right in front of the Burj Khalifa and the big fountain at the main entrance to Dubai Mall, on the left side was a restaurant, social house, right? Which is again the restaurant you'll find at the top of Menara BCA, the BCA Bank Tower at Indonesia, right? I was told afterwards it was actually a franchise. But again, these are examples of how I really think the tourism and lifestyle sector can be a driver of tourism, trade, and investment between our two regions. Right? Again, it's driven by demographics, the rise of the millennial, the rise of the Generation Z, turbocharged by Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, WhatsApp, right? And driven by rising income and rising middle class lifestyle adoption. So that's what I can share on this auspicious occasion. Thank you again to Pauli and the organizers for giving me a chance to share a few thoughts. And I hope that you have a productive conference as a result of meeting today. Thank you.